Big Wave and Kite-foil sweep Baja California. Politics damage sports in the Malaysia-Israel sailing crisis, and much more. And now, in the newsroom, here is Mia Sharan. SC Sports, plunge into the action.
Welcome back for a brand new edition of NC Sports, with all the latest news and insights from all over the blue planet. I'm Mia Charan, and it has been another sensational week for water sports. Here's what's coming up. Mexico's Baja California goes center stage for Kite-foil North Americans at the Lord of the Wind, and the WSL Big Wave competition in Todos Los Santos. More WSL surf for the Netanya qualifiers in Israel. Plus, fair winds Bob Oatley, Australia's sailing icon. The recent exclusion of Team Israel at the Youth Sailing World Championships in Malaysia has snowballed into an international sports crisis that could go well beyond sailing. It's a complex case of blatant discrimination that is not only hurting the sport, but also undermining the validity of both past and future events. Now on Top Story, here's German Ingrid with the background.
The backlash after last year's de facto exclusion of the Israeli team from the Sailing Youth World Championship in Malaysia took shape with an official investigation and a final statement on January 8 by World Sailing's Executive Committee, with the full cooperation of the International Olympic Committee. The findings established that the Malaysian authorities breached Article 7 of the World Sailing Constitution, which aim at ensuring that, quote, there shall be no discrimination on the grounds of race, religion, or political affiliation against any competitor representing a member national authority. Israeli athletes were required not to wear team colors with the national flag, could not attend the venue when not competing, nor could the national anthem be played in case of gold medal victory. Malaysian authorities also denied providing any security detail to Israeli athletes in the Islamic nation. The document also adds that World Sailing shall, at its discretion, impose a sanction on the Malaysian Sailing Federation. These could include non-selection as a future venue, denial of appointment of World Sailing race officials to future regattas in the country, and or cancellation of membership to World Sailing. In question now is the validity of the 2015 Youth Worlds, the RSX Worlds in Oman for a spot at the Rio Games, and the 2014 and 15 Sailing World Cup Final in Abu Dhabi. All events marred by discriminatory visa issues aimed at excluding top Israeli sailors. Under scrutiny are also future events like the next Youth Worlds in Oman this year and Israel in 2017.
Politics has always affected the world of sports, but this specific case involving discrimination against young sailors has come under special international scrutiny. NC Sports is following developments closely and will be bringing you all sides of the story in this coming weeks. Today we begin with special guest Madam Smadar Pintov, CEO of the Israeli Sailing Federation. Hello, Mrs. Pinto, and thank you for joining the program.
Hello, thank you too. Pleased to meet you.
I'm glad to be here.
In the past, you've often had to submit to some of these impositions when competing in Islamic countries. What changed this time?
In the past few years, when there were competitions in countries that we don't have diplomatic relationship with, the Israel Association did not make an effort to participate in those countries. So there was no big fuss about it. But in the last 2 years, there are more and more competitions in such countries that we don't have diplomatic relationship with. And the more important, it's very important competition, like world competition, that we must be there. So we cannot allow our sailors not to be and to compete in such competitions. So something changed in the last year or 2 years. Something changed in our opinion and in the world. And so we truly believe that world sailing is in a different position now. It needs to figure everything up like they did in the last committee on the 8th of January. Everyone needs to adjust to this new situation, that more and more Islam's countries host important competitions, and it's a problem for us. Now it's us, it could be in other countries.
These young athletes are, of course, the big losers in all of this. It must be pretty devastating for them. Now, how are windsurfers Yoav, Omer, and Noe Dirian taking all of this?
Of course, they were very disappointed. I must say that they read all the restrictions that the Malaysians sent us, and even they couldn't agree to that. They like sports, men and women, and they really wanted to go and waited for that. So on the 24th, when no visas arrived and it was a few hours before the departure time, we said that they are unable to go. They were very, very disappointed. You must know there are 2 world championships, and of course they were looking forward to that. Like a sport, men and women, they're waiting for the next competition, and they're looking forward to that and doing all the preparation they need. They are now in training camps, both of them, looking forward.
What's your position at this point? Are you seeking any sort of redressal from World Sailing with regards to Team Israel?
If the sanction mentioned in the review will truly happen, we are fine with that. We are disappointed that there is no sanctions mentioned about what happened in Malaysia or in Oman. We are very disappointed of that. We still wait to hear from World Sailing if there is going to be any sanction. But we are really looking forward, and now our first priority is the Youth World in Oman, which is closed now. So we send a letter to World Sailing and we ask for immediate action to resolve any problems with our participant in Oman on December. This is our first priority. And of course, there's the competition in Abu Dhabi that we want to make sure now that we can come with ISR code and to participate as an Israeli, of course.
Are you satisfied by the World Sailing investigation and reports? Many critics argue it's too little, too late.
We want to believe that what happened in the 8th of January in the special committee is a new change. That everyone, including Islam's country, should need to adjust. We want to believe it will be a new change, and either the competition will not take place in such countries, it's up to them, or it will be in another country, not in Oman. We don't know. We want to hear from World Sailing in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, very early from now, that everything in Oman is settled and they are okay with us coming with our flags and our code country and everything.
We'll be continuing this very interesting chat on this controversial case with Madam Smadar Pintov, CEO of the Israeli Sailing Federation, in the second part of the program. But first, let's take a look at what's happening around the world on the NC Sports Briefs.
As the sailing world continues to mourn recently deceased Wild Oats 11 patron Robert Bob Oatley, his family responded to the overwhelming show of solidarity with a statement on the Wild Oats 11 Facebook page, saying the prominent entrepreneur was a proud and passionate Australian who made outstanding contributions to the Australian wine, tourism, coffee, sailing, and thoroughbred horse industries. Oatley was best known in nautical circles for his domination of the annual Sydney to Hobart yacht race. His 100-foot Super Maxi Wild Oats 11 won the grueling 630 nautical mile sprint across the Bass Strait 8 times and maintains the record it set in 2012. With a net worth of $910 million, Oatley was ranked 34th on the Forbes Richest People in Australia list in 2015. He died on January 9th at the age of 87 following a long-term illness.
Wild and beautiful Baja California set the stage for superb WSL Big Wave action at the Todos Santos Challenge. In riveting conditions, an all-star final became the decider last Sunday with Russie and Greg Long, Nick Lamb, Carlos Burle, Damian Hopgood, and Josh Curd battling it out for the top spot. Steep drops and major wipeouts marked the competition. While dispelling all the forecasts, a championship tour veteran Kerr took the title with a whopping total score of 24.27, ahead of American Long, 1884, and Brazil's Burle, 1833. An unexpected success for the Australian, who hadn't won a single WSL event in over 5 years.
Julienne Kerner and Cynthia Sinbad Brown successfully defended their titles to extend their reign as Lord and Lady of the Wind at the 6th edition of the Lord of the Wind in Baja, Mexico. The 5-day multidiscipline event also saw Joey Pasquale take the crown as IKA's 2016 North American Kite-foil champion, with 14 wins in 15 races. In the big air competition, Frenchman Kerner soared into first place with a maximum jump of 11.6 meters, while Cynthia Brown also skied some massive air, reaching a summit of 10 meters. Rounding up the event, Rocky Chatwell and Chris Kinn rocked the freestyle division, while in the slalom competition, Bruno Ferreira bested 2 of the 5 final races to capture first prize.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back with more water sports news and to continue our discussion on this controversial discrimination case involving Malaysia and Israel. We're back in the NC Sports studio, and for those of you who have just tuned in, we're speaking with Smadar Pintov, CEO of the Israeli Sailing Federation, on the recent discriminatory policies imposed on its young sailors at the last Junior World Championship in Malaysia. Thanks for staying with us, Ms. Pintov. Now, clearly these impositions are national government policies which come from well above the Malaysian Sailing Federation, especially since the two nations currently do not have any diplomatic ties. Now, how would you describe the relationship with your Malaysian counterparts at this point?
I really don't know. There weren't a lot of communication between us. A few mails were with Mr. Megat and at the beginning with Miss or Mr. Suraya, and I really don't have an answer for that. I want to believe that if it were up to the Malaysia Association, it was much easier, but it's still up to their authority. I really don't have an answer for that. I don't know. I don't know if it comes from the government or from the association, but I want to believe it's from the authority, and if it was only up to the association, we were there. I want to believe that.
For the sake of balance, what is your organization's policy on the participation of teams from Muslim countries in events in Israel?
Truly, we are welcoming everyone from every nation. It's sports. We are not a political organization, and we are, as an association, as a sport association, we already said that and wrote that to World Sailing. We'll do everything we can to help and to make sure that any country, even Muslims country, can come to Israel with their flags, with everything. It's our first priority. We do not ask for other country for something we are not asking from us. Already spoke about this with our Ministry of Sport, because we are hosting now in February the World RSX Championship, and we are doing everything we can that everyone can come. We will be very happy to see Muslim sailors. Unfortunately, in last year in the 470 World Championship in Haifa, I believe only from Indonesia there was someone, but unfortunately they are not coming. But we will do everything we can that everyone will be able to come here to Israel and participate in every competition.
Will you be considering changes in that posture for the future if the situation remains the same?
No, not at all. On the contrary, we must be better than anyone.
As we speak, another discipline is holding a major event in Israel, with the World Surf League holding its annual qualifier in Netanya. Let's have a look.
The World Surf League is now holding its very first men's qualifying series event at the Netanya Pro in Israel, and with a stormy Mediterranean packing excellent waves. Reportedly, the early rounds and the quarterfinal bouts of this winter event took place in apocalyptic conditions. The 4 semifinalists are expected to hit the water on Bat Yam Beach as this NC Sports edition goes to air. European champion Pedro Henrique from Portugal is facing Basque Ethan Eguiguren in Heat 1, while Heat 2 will see Peru's Alonso Correa against Mihimana Bray from French Polynesia. Event organizers will choose the best window of opportunity until January 25th, and another huge swell is expected over the weekend.
As we've seen, water sports in general have their rightful place in Israel. How would you describe your nation's relationship with the sea?
I can tell you that it is growing every year. We have more and more sailors clubs along our beach. We have a long beach in Israel from north to south. And this year there are 6 new sailors clubs that join us, which is very nice. And we are growing and growing. Still, we are a small country, even though we have lots of beaches and very nice conditions, good wind. But we are doing everything we can to wider all our sports, all our sea sports, and not only classes that are in our association. So it's also SAPS, which is growing very much. Kite surfing, it's in our association, and it's also growing very much. Israel always was in the map in the sea sports, but surely we are growing in it.
As we heard earlier, 2017 will be the year of the Youth Sailing Worlds in Israel, an important achievement for your entire sailing movement. In light of what is happening now, what are your hopes and expectations for that very special event?
As long as many sailors and nations will come, we'll be more happy and will be more appreciate. It's not easy for a small country like us to host a world championship, especially the youth, which is a very big competition. We are started with all the organizing details long time ago for the youth worlds in Acre to arrange everything. We're looking forward to that. We're doing everything we can to make it a successful competition for everyone. We hear here and there that there are some nations that are, due to the tense environment here in Israel, which is not like that, I must say. It's only in the media. When you are here, it's not like that, and you're not feeling it at all. So we truly hope that everything will be okay and everyone will come, and we'll do our best that it will be a successful competitions, and we're looking forward to host in the future another competitions, more and more. I want, on behalf of everything here in Israel, to thank all the nations and the medias around the world that support us. We have got lots and lots of emails also that supporting us, and it was very warming, and I really want, on behalf of everyone here in Israel, to thank everyone for that. It was very important to us to see that we are not alone in this battle, and we are grateful.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that, and thank you so much, Ms. Pintov, for sharing all of this with our viewers. At NC Sports, we wish you and all the Israeli teams all the best for 2016 and beyond. So, fair winds.
Thank you very much. Bye.
And now it's time for the NC Sports calendar, with top events coming up from the world of water sports.
The final showdown of the World Match Racing Tour comes to a head in Malaysia at the ISAF-sanctioned Monsoon Cup from January 26th to 30th. In the running for top honors and a share of the $440 tour bonus are skippers Bjorn Hansen, Taylor Canfield, and Ian Williams. With only 5 points separating the front-runners after the penultimate event in Bermuda, the grand finale of the world's longest-running sailing competition looks set to be its most exciting ever. Exponents of the maritime sports and lifestyle industry will gather in Düsseldorf from this weekend to the 31st of January at the annual Boat Water Sports Trade Show. With a surface area of 1,000 square meters and over 1,700 exhibitors, the trade fair will showcase just about everything that has to do with the world of water sports, from sailing and motorboating to diving, trend sports, and fishing. Organizers say they're expecting to attract more than 200,000 visitors this year. February 6th will mark the inauguration of a brand new event on the FINA Open Water Swimming calendar, the FINA Open Water Swim World Events 2016. The mass participation swim series is reserved for non-elite open water swimmers and will complement the existing Marathon Swimming Grand Prix series. Swimmers will perform one lap, either 1.6 or 2.5 kilometers, of the elite course. The 2016 circuit consists of 7 legs and kicks off this February 6th in Patagones Viedma, Argentina.
Time's up for today, but we'll be back with more news and more insight. I'm Mia Charan, and I'll see you next week. So remember, plunge into the action with NC Sports.